Hello, the closet. How we doing? Hello, Becky Palmer. Pointing in a different direction today because the sun is just making my phone overheat. So I've had to try and tuck it behind the railings out of the sun's rays, if you know what I mean. I'm fine, thanks. Just roasting. It's absolutely tropical here. It's unbelievably hot. Can't believe how warm it is. Well, I can believe it. So we're having a heat wave for another few days, but it's very warm today. I'll just open a few more windows. A bit of air flowing. It's only the second time ever I've ever pointed camera this way. It's in the shade, you see. Well, partially shaded. Hello, Monster Carp. How are we doing? Yeah, nice set of points. It crosses all the way from first track to fourth track. There's a quarry train just gone over them about 5 minutes ago. Just as I was setting up, I couldn't get camera going quick enough. GBRF quarry train. Went from line 4 to line 2. Yeah. Yeah, when we had the hot weather last week, whenever it were, after 5 minutes of streaming, my phone just cut off and said too hot. So it's not fully shaded, but it's a bit shaded, just to keep the direct sunlight off it. I'm doing double slips at Luton. Excellent. Well, you're in St Helens, are you, the closet? So it's going to be nice and warm where you are as well, I would imagine. Not far from me, St Helens. We create another compilation video to run later on sometime when I'm back at home. It's just so time consuming to do. To get 10 minutes footage, it takes me like an hour just for 10 minutes, you know what I mean? It takes forever. I did all the points at Bristol East. Excellent. We had a point up here go funny. We're really weird. Kept opening and shutting randomly. The point that's just about 100 yards further along than that point you can see behind me just kept opening and closing. And there's a train coming. But anyway, it calmed down, it did, before the train come. Yeah, well, I've got another one lined up for later. I've added to it. I keep adding all the time to it. It's just takes so long to do. Because obviously you've got a live stream at 2 hours, and I clip the trains out. Then you're not looking at an empty, like now we're looking at an empty track because I am actually here live. But when I met the videos, obviously I just cut the train bits out. Well, you've got to trawl through and find all the train bits because they're only a matter of seconds long each clip, and trying to make a decent length of video out of 10-second, 8-second clips takes forever. I wish I lived in one of these houses right outside the railway track, and I'd just have a camera running 24/7 live stream. Colton Junction, whereabouts is that? I am looking for a change of location, somewhere different for a change. Because you know, this West Coast main line's all right, but it's just same trains every day. You know what I mean? With the odd special, but generally it's just all the same stuff. 331s, 195s, 390s, 397s. Near Yorkish. Right. Hello, Stuart. How are we doing? Well, you won't be so bad tomorrow when you get your ceiling fans installed. Yep, it's certainly hot. I've got a Tesco cheese sandwich. Yummy. And a big bottle of Pepsi Max. I put a hit switch points in on my drive. How fire. A friend of mine, he has a short length of railway track in his back garden with buffers. And the buffers, he's like created a bench on the back of them so he can sit on bench. The length of track he's got is only about 25 foot with a set of buffers. And he also has the front of a class 37 that's been cut off with a gas axe. It's very train. His house, everything's train related when you go in his house, and outside his house it's signs of stations and all sorts. I'll look that up, Colton Junction. Almost about it, there's a bit of breeze, but there's no breeze or anything. It's just still air. Yeah, that's the key. Somewhere you can sit and park up, you know. There's lots of good locations, but they're no good if there's nowhere to sit, you know, nowhere to park your car. Because if you sat there for hours, you need to be able to sit down. Do I look at? Yes, I do. I look at loads of them. Loads and loads. I'm subscribed to loads of railway channels. My favourite one, without a doubt, is Leslie Gilpin Phillips, is called. Always up Carlisle way. His videos are good. Leslie Gilpin Phillips. Oh yeah. I always, check the times of everything, me, and try and time it right. Upon this, where I am here, if there's anything decent coming through, like last Saturday, Blue Peter, you've got to get here early. Otherwise, you can't get a parking spot, you know, you can't park where you want. And they're all there with this stuff, you know, the big cameras and stuff, you know. Yeah, that's a good channel, is that? Leslie Gilpin Phillips is called. There's another one, Stephen Summit, I can't remember his second name. Stephen Summit. Another good one. Bolton Junction. go and visit, yes. I'm going to start visiting some different places. Now to doubt. Tickles me. There's a guy who comes here when there's a steamer running or something special, and it's packed with full. There's one guy, he has a YouTube channel, and he gets out. He has all fancy cameras and big tripod and all this screen and all sorts of gear. And then I watch his video to see what he's put on his channel, and the video quality is absolutely terrible. I think, God, all that gear and no idea. You know what I mean? You know, the quality's terrible. You know, if I can't do it in 4K, I don't do it. But his is, I don't know, but he gets all this clobber out, big camera, tripod, and everything. You know, right lot of gear. And I overheard him the other week. He was telling somebody his YouTube channel name, so I thought, oh, I'll have a look at that when I get home. I'm expecting great things, you know what I mean? Top-notch videos. And I was disappointed, to say the least. Hello, Mato Strotsky. How are we doing? Mato Strotsky. How are we doing? Yeah, I'll tackle, you know what I mean? All I have is a phone. Well, two phones. One that I stream on and one that I'm watching the stream on. And a microphone. That's it. I do have a tripod, but I only use that when I'm doing streams on the station. But my phone's just held to the fence with a super strong magnet. How's it going, Mato Strosky? Mato Strosky, yeah, I got your name right. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up, double tap your screen if you're watching on a phone. Dink dink like that, just like that. Tap tap on your screen. Must be 4:30, the slow trains here. Comes at 28 past every hour, that train, and it's always crawling. There must be another train crossing over from the East Lancs line that's getting in its way or something, because it always comes dead slow at the same time every hour. Going to Blackpool North. Hello, Raylord. How we doing? Is it nice and warm where you are? It's absolutely roasting here. We need to sleep. Phew, somebody just gone past riding a herd ride. Phew, pardon me. And here we've got the engineers train now. Hello, John Bosco. John Bosco. How we doing? Hello, silly man. I'm mute. Yeah. Hello, silly man. Hello, Regia. Correct. Network rail 66. Yeah. Wow, it is so hot. Yeah, it's usually here about, well, it varies, but it's usually around 5:10. It gets to junction about 1:45, but it gets held up at Farrington Junction as a rule. It doesn't run every day, but more often than not, with the old logs on board. Whew. Let's see what temperature it is here. 31.5. Wowee. And it's supposed to get hotter tomorrow, Friday. Don't forget to double tap your screen. Tap tap. My microphone on. Yes. Oh, F90, what's that? At what time it's coming? At 7 o'clock? I won't be here at 7 o'clock. I'll be long gone before then. Especially in this heat. It would be a nice night to go to the station actually tonight. It'd be nice and warm, but Can you come tomorrow? Where to? Wayland Station. Maybe. I don't know. See what the day brings. Depends on the temperature. If it's this warm again tomorrow, I might do the station tomorrow night rather than come down here because it's temperature here is crazy. Got all my windows open and my door open, everything. It's still roasting. So if it's this hot tomorrow, I may go to the station tomorrow night. See how I feel. See what the day brings. The test train is coming tomorrow. The test train, alright. I put that on one of my videos, the test train. Put it on this morning I did to my video that I'm going to run off my computer, when I run them off my computer, so you've no gaps of empty track like it is now. And the test train's on that somewhere. I remember adding it. The yellow HST. And the other one's on as well, the Rail Adventures HST, that's on as well. Are you in the UK, Reggie? Are you in the UK? I presume you are. It's all quiet. 70's only in Whalley, is it? Oh, it's running late then. It's not going to be here for a bit then if it's only just got to Whalley. Should be at Farrington Curb by now, really. But anyway, let's have a look on the map. See where it is. Yep. Yeah, it's running late. It's not even reached Blackburn yet. 6J37. It's not going to hit here for another half an hour. That's provided that it gets a run through junction. Yep, 20, just short of half an hour away. 17:13 it's down for here. Hello, Tommy. Yeah, I must have been in your dreams. Correct. It's certainly warm, isn't it? I presume it's warm over there. It's absolutely boiling here. 31.5 it is here at the moment. Phew. I've got all my windows down. I've got my tailgate, I mean, tail, whatever you call it, back door open. And it's still, whew, absolutely roasting. If I did that chat on, I'd probably be asleep. I don't think people would appreciate me snoring. Yeah. Oh yeah. I knew it was going to be warm. Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be warm anyway because I saw weather forecast is it's going to be like this for the next 45 days. But this morning when I was in bed, I could feel the heat coming through the walls, if you know what I mean. Even though I've got blackout curtains and everything, I could still feel the warmth coming through. And I thought, oh my God, it's going to be a warming. And it certainly is. There's just no wind. If there were a bit of wind, it'd be nice, but it's just no wind. It's solid heat. The problem is, I'm just surrounded by fields, so I'm constantly getting harassed by these like brown horsefly things, which I don't mind. But the problem is, they're jumping all over me and in my car, and they've probably been on a cow clap half an hour ago. I mean, everybody's dreams. Sweet dreams are made of this. Bloody flies. Yeah, yesterday there was a bit of a breeze, but not today. I'm sitting in front of a fan after eating an ice cream bar. Excellent. I'm just getting harassed by flies here. I won't be here much longer today because I just it's not the heat, it's the damn flies that keep landing on me. So annoying. And we were last in Dublin, RB. I've never been to Dublin. I've never been to the island ever. I'm afraid. Never been. Never been in that direction. I haven't even been to Isle of Man. Been to some of the Scottish islands, but that's about it. But I've never been to Ireland. This is going slow, this 397. Yeah, somewhere I've never been. Never even been to Isle of Man, as I can recall. I've been to Isle of Wight. And I've been to some of the Scottish islands. And obviously I've been to Spain and Turkey and Greece. And I don't think I've ever been to France. I can't remember. I don't think I've ever been to France. Been to Turkey, Greece, Spain, Canaries. I went to IOM when I was a kid. You're from Gatwick. All right, you're quite a way away then, Reggie. Gatwick. I don't know why I had it in my head that you were local around here, where you knew about the station names and stuff. Yeah, I've been there, Tommy, I think. I've been there, and Aaron and Sky. That's about it, I think. I'm from Gatwick. Busy down there. Love the flies. Hello, Walter Cullen. How are we doing? How's it going? Yeah, I've never been to Gatwick. I've been past the airport, but I've never actually been in the airport. I've been in Heathrow. I've never been in Gatwick. I've been in Manchester Airport loads of times as a passenger and as a worker. I used to deliver to passenger to Glasgow, Manchester Airport when I worked for TNT. Hated it, I did. Spent hours there just for the sake of a few parcels. Hello, Heather. How are we doing? I was reading your post earlier on about that thing off YouTube, Heather. There's a few people got them. I think they're bogus. I don't think they're from YouTube. Because who is it? Jeanette got one saying that your stream is going to be removed due to infringements or something. Well, she hadn't even done the stream. And they never removed anything or did anything. I think it's scammers, me. That is, yeah, the Leyland Truck Factory. That's it, Tommy. Yep. Yeah, Jeanette got one yesterday saying your live stream is going to be removed, blah, blah, blah. And she got it before she even done the stream. Yes, that's Leyland Trucks, is that, Tommy? Them white things you can see on the camera are the sprinkler system, you know, the tanks holding the sprinkler water. I've been in there many millions of times. That's another place I used to hate delivering to, Leyland Trucks. Because you go to one door and they say, oh no, it's for this door. So you drive to another door, oh no, no, it's for this door. And you'd spend ages in there just getting mucked around because nobody wanted to unload you. So they They just kept passing you from one door to another. So nobody could be asked getting on a forklift and lifting pallets off, you know. Painful. Very painful. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it, Heather? Unbelievably warm. Super warm. I bet you sat it back garden, aren't you? With wee Jeff. It's supposed to be like this for a few days, so they say. All organised. Excellent. Class 70 is 36 late, yeah. It'll be here shortly. I'll just have a look. Away fans at Crawley Town, I think. Thing where. Well, I know the weather's lovely where you are, Walter, because you're not far from me. Make Britain great again, but get someone to drive the forklift first. Correct. Even that's not owned by. Even Leyland Trucks is not English now. It's owned by I think they're Dutch. I'm not 100% sure, but they're owned by a company called Paccar. 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 I think they're either Dutch or French because there's a hell of a lot of do whatever they call them. Is it Duroy or Duru wagons in there, which I think are Dutch. But they still assemble them in there. Still put them together because I see all wagons with cabs on, just cabs on back at wagons coming in. So they do still assemble them there. And the test track's gone now. They used to have a test track and you used to be able to see it on Google Earth, but it's actually gone now. I think there's possibly houses on it now or something. But you used to be able to see it on Google Earth. It was quite a thing. It were that test track. It had bridges and tunnels in it and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, it is. It's still called Leyland DAF. You know, the wagons are still DAF branded, but the actual building, you know, the actual company is owned by Paccar. They're called. You can see, I can see the sign, but you can't see the sign with it written on. But without me zooming in, but it says Paccar right down the side of the building. It were Paccar when I used to deliver there. But the wagons are still branded Leyland DAF. Hello, Kyer Z3W. How are we doing? Can't remember what I used to deliver there. I used to take all sorts of stuff because I used to take stuff just to fit parts area, and then sometimes I'd like engines and stuff and gearboxes and things. They sing you're a car park for Gatwick. Yeah, it wasn't a favourite delivery because you used to have to. Outside they've got like a lay-by and a security lodge. You had to park in the lay-by, then walk up to the security lodge. You weren't allowed to just drive up to the security lodge and speak through your window. You had to park up. It was pathetic. It was just, just basically just making something up for the sake of it. You know what I mean? It was just totally unnecessary. When I first started going, you used to just drive up to the gate, speak to them through your window, and you were in. And then some do-gooder come up with this scheme that you had to park up, get out your wagon, take your paperwork to... Oh, just turned a 2-minute job into like an hour of a job. I don't think so, Tommy. I don't think we have anything in this country now. We make planes and stuff, fighter planes, but we sell all them to Arabs. We sell all them to people who probably bomb us with them in years to come. Still make planes. You know my tiny train spot. Yeah, I can't think of anything that's made in this country. There must be something, but I can't think of anything. Still make some trains. Still do build an odd 1 or 2 trains. Alstom in Derby, but that's not English owned. I'm supposed to be used to the weather, but I'm not. I don't mind the weather. I don't mind it when it's like this. It's just, I'd just, if I could do anything, I'd just a little bit of a breeze would be nice. There's absolutely no breeze whatsoever. Packard is an American company, right? I was had it in my head that they were Dutch for some reason. Need to renew my car insurance tomorrow. I've been with the same company for 3 years, 4 years in fact. Sheila's Wheels, and it's always gone down every year. And then for some reason this year they just decided to put it up by 180 quid, so we will be parting company tomorrow. I just don't understand where they get where the logic comes in, you know what I mean? For the last 3 years it's gone down. My name is Eric, I love trains. Tomato soup with special seasoning, tornado seasoning, excellent. Yeah, and for some reason it's gone up nearly almost £200. And for the past 3 years it's gone down roughly by 50. So I've never bothered changing, but I'll be changing tomorrow. I don't know what I wrote. Best thing to do then is just don't tap the screen. That's the cure for that one. Yeah, just short of 200, 180. I couldn't believe it. And I rung them up about it. And I said, look, for the past 3 years, like, you've lowered it down by £50 every year. So I've always been happy. But this year you're putting it up by 180 odd for no reason. I said, I've got a quote. I've just been on Go Compare and I can get it less than what I got it off you last year. So for less than 200 what you're quoting. She says, right then, she says, so you don't want to renew with us then? I said, no. She said, well, why not? I said, are you not listening to what I'm saying? I said, why should I pay you £200 more? And nobody can help me on a phone, I'm afraid. The best thing to cure for that is just pick it up and whiz it across the room. cat is sitting on my head. Yeah, just grab it and chuck it off here. Yeah, so I don't know why it's just ridiculous. You know, I pay roughly around 280 a year. It's generally no. She just she says we can get the price down by removing features. I said, but that's not getting the price down. You're just making the insurance less, you know, by taking bits off it. You know, you're not actually, you know. And I said to her, I said, look, I can get it for 266 off somebody called, I forget what they called it. Wrong. Compare the market. They're called something like Boom or something like that. They were called. Boom. I can't remember its name exactly. And I said, look, I can get it off them for 266. I said, for the past 3 years, you've always been around the 300 mark, and you've dropped down. Well, it was about 450 when I first went with him, and over the last 3 years, it's dropped down 50 quid a year. So I said, I could live with that. But now you've bumped it up to 500 and something. She says, it's just the way, you know, it's just the way it is. Nothing I can do. I can't get you anything better. So you won't be renewing. I said, no, I won't be renewing. That's it. Christ. If it would have been the same price, I could have lived with it. But not that much extra, no way. I mean, I usually shop around every year, but because they'd always reduced it, I'd not bothered. But tomorrow I will be joining Boom or whatever they're called. Class 70 is now on your previous lives. It won't let me see the live chat or type. Oh, hellfire. Massive, huge dragonfly keeps flying around. A big green one. Correct. That's exactly what I thought, Tom. If it had been similar price, like you said, gone up a tenner, I couldn't be bothered making phone calls for that. But you know, I couldn't believe it when I got the email saying, "Log in. You're in. You're in." I don't like class 730. Yeah, well, we don't get any class 730s through here, so don't worry about that. Yeah, the what is it? I forgot what I want to say now. Lost my train of thought. Pardon the pun. Yeah, that way I got the email saying, please log in, your renewal quote is available. If you wish to carry on, you do not need to do anything. We will automatically charge you on the 10th of July. You will not. You will not be charging me nothing. This is Sheila's wheels. Sod that for a game, soldiers. You really need a Sheila, RB. She might bring you insurance down. Yeah, certainly Sheila's wheels haven't done. It's very rare that I stay with an insurance company. It's 2 years on trot, let alone 3. You know, I used to always swap every year because they always put it up, but God forbid. That's an almighty increase. You know, I thought the whole idea of no claims bonuses were so it dropped down. I'll go up. There's nothing changed. Well, I'll wait for this log train, then I'm going to call it a do. I need to get moving and get some wind flowing through this car. Talking of cars, did your young one get rid of that? Yeah. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she ended up scrapping it, which is a bit disappointing really, but I just left them to it. I kept out of it really because I had a look at it and I couldn't make up my mind what we're up with. There were definitely a clutch issue, but there seemed to be an oil leak on gearbox as well to me, so I think it were a new gearbox job. But still, you know, it was certainly worth more than scrap value in my opinion, but that was it. And I told her, I said, if you scrap it, you'll get an out. I said, because it's a tiny car, it hardly weighs anything, so it won't have any scrap value, you know. But they don't listen, so I kept out of it, left them to it. It was 2014, it were. 2014 Fiat 500. Little tiny thing. It'll be a metal cube now. In fact, it could even be a tin of beans now. If I'd have had a garage and somewhere, I'd have took it off and got somebody to fix it. Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I said to her, I mean, garages though, they were quoting a silly money, you know what I mean? She did ask a garage chap to have a do with it, and he was quoting about 800 quid. To which I said, well, you're better off paying that than getting like 120 quid scrap and then having to buy another car. But you know what kids are like, they want everything in an instant, you know. So I just left it to it. I weren't getting involved. If it had been my car, I'd have just gone to the garage and I just said, just sort it. There's nothing you can do, you see. Sometimes it's better the devil you know. I keep pondering changing my car, but then I think, you know, what's the point? Oh, I can hear the Class 70. I can't see it, but I can hear it accelerating. It's got a distinctive sound. Here it comes. Here it comes, the log train. American-built locomotive. Weird, I can actually smell that wood, mate. That'll keep your log burner going for a bit. I think if you just had one of them carriages, it's a lifetime's worth of log burning. Correct. You're right there, Tommy. I'd have definitely got it repaired. You know, the way I saw it is that she could have repaired it, and if she didn't want to keep it, just repair it and knock it on, and at least get some of her original money back. Because you know she'd have got £2 for it, because it was fairly low mileage, 14 plates, so it was worth £2. Catch you later, Reggie. We're definitely worth £2 if it had been repaired. But anyway, you don't listen. And she's got another little car now. What's she got now? A Vauxhall now. Vauxhall Adam. And Tutherland's got a Ford car. I always keep ahead of it, mate, because if you get involved, you know, you tell them what car to buy, and then it turns out to be a bad, and you get blamed. So I keep my nose out. You know what I mean? I used to get it with wife when she used to get cars. She used to say, better be alright this. I think, oh God, if this goes wrong, this is it. I'm going to get blamed every time something goes wrong with this. Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't have said profit, but certainly get the money back. I can't remember how much she paid for it in first place. She paid 2,000 and odd for it in first place. You know, but like I say, if I'd have had a driveway or something to put it on, I'd have took it and got somebody to fix it, but it'd be no good for me to use. Too damn small and too low to the floor. Yeah, they are. Only problem is the death traps. They've got one of the worst safety ratings of any car they have, unfortunately. You know, when they rate them for safety, they're one of the worst. But a lot of that's purely down to the size, you know. But not for me, I'm afraid. But me and small cars don't get on. But that one she's got now is just a small, that little Vauxhall Adam, but it's newer. Don't know what year it is, but it's definitely newer. She hasn't managed to break anything on it yet. Give it time. Other than with that Ford car, she's alright with that. She's not had any bother so far. I think the Ford car and the Fiat 500, I think they're based on the same floor pan. I think they share the same engine. Little 3-cylinder 1200 thing. It's same as like this one I drive, BMW X5. It's the same vehicle. If you take the outer shell off, it's Range Rover and X5. It's the same vehicle. You know what I mean? Same running gear, same engines, everything. I remember when I had my discs changed, my brake discs, and they were in Land Rover packaging. They need doing again. I keep trying with the IE getting shut to this, but I've test driven some others, but they don't feel any better, they just don't feel any better, and they're not as easy getting out of. This is perfect getting out of because it's got the chassis steps, you know what I mean? Not the bloody horrible bolt-on aftermarket flipping running steps that are awful. You know, the steps are part of the chassis, so there's no giving them or anything, you know what I mean? They're a proper job. And none of these newer ones have them on. And if you drive it alright, it is fairly economical for considering the size of it. You know. When you think it's like not far off 2 ton in weight. Well, that's it, Tommy. I just think one day this car will just sort of implode or something. I don't know, because it's got a lot of miles on clock. But it doesn't use any oil. I keep checking. I check oil regular, and never frigging moves. It amazes me actually. Never moves. Does the oil? Never doesn't burn a drop. You know. I do check it often because I bought a gallon. It cost a bloody fortune. It did for this gallon of oil because it's right posh oil. And I thought I'll buy a gallon and put it in my boot. And every time I've gone to engine, check dipstick, it's not needed any. I thought, God, what did I spend all that money for on that gallon of oil? You know, because I get oil changed every 6 months anyway at garage, you know. And I've had the gearbox oil changed as well. But they are well known for being bulletproof, these BMW straight six engines. There's no timing belt on them, so you haven't got that to worry about. Yeah, correct, that's it. The problem with some of these new cars now, they've got all these gadgetries on them and they're a flipping nightmare. If you an older car, mind it. Mend it, mind it. Mend it, I presume. Yeah. Touch wood, I haven't had anything majorly wrong with this. All I've spent on is tyres and brake discs. And that last year I had them, what you would call them, I forgot what they call them, drop links done, which were nothing. You know what I mean? They were nothing. I think that's it. One of the door handles wants fixing, passenger side door handle wants fixing. It won't undo from outside, but I never bother about it because I very rarely have a passenger. If it were door, if it were driver's door, I'd be straight onto it, but because it's passenger door and I very rarely have a passenger, I never bother. I think the cables just come off the back of the handle, you know. Want to pop him back on, but I'm always reluctant for pulling door cards off because they've got them frigging airbags in them. I don't like messing around with them airbags because they've got flipping shotgun cartridges in them, you know what I mean, explosives and stuff. So I'm always a bit wary of them. Or in Ireland, I'd get Gary's wife to fix it. She's a dab hand at fixing cars. That train is going to Barrow-in-Furness. A nice day for going up the Lake District, that is for sure. Consumables, correct, Tommy. I put a new radio in this when I got it, and I so regretted it. A real cock up for a mistake that I took the old radio out, flung it in skip, and put a new radio in. And then winter time come, I thought, I wonder how that heater works, you know, because it's got one of them Webasto heaters under the bonnet that runs off diesel, you know. I wonder how that works. How do you switch that on? So I looked in manual. Still not going to, yeah, you're right there, Tommy. I can't get a free bus pass yet. I've got another 3 years to wait yet. Yeah, I remember I took the old radio out, the original BMW one, chucked it in bin because half the pixels had gone on screen, you know, the pixely bits, and put this new one in with Apple CarPlay and all that jazzy rubbish on it. And then I thought at winter time, I wonder how you get that Webasto heater going, you know, because it's a big thing under the bonnet, you know, that runs off diesel. So I gets manual out and looks, and first thing it says is go to menu 2 on radio. God. Well, that's the end of that conversation. Go to menu 2 on radio. The radio I chucked it skip. So that with that. And I keep looking on eBay. You can get the radios, the original ones, on eBay, but they all say on adverts not guaranteed, don't know code, and all this crap. Although I'm not going. We're going down a rabbit hole with that, like. So I've still got the sat nav and the disc change and everything's all still in boot, you know, bolted in boot. I wish I'd never swapped it now, but I did not know at the time. People don't bother with CDs and stuff nowadays. It's all flipping online, isn't it, now? Music and stuff. Having an helicopter would be alright, Tommy, but it's finding where to park it. I remember when I used to deliver to Botany Bay. The guy who owned Botany Bay, the supermarket, it was like a big old mill in Chorley, and it was called Botany Bay. And it had floors of furniture and all sorts of different shops in it. And the guy who owned that, Botany Bay, he used to come and go in an helicopter. And he had a pilot as well, you know, proper pilot with, you know, with fancy shirt on and everything. And one day I was delivering there at Botany Bay, and he were there, he come in helicopter. I thought, oh, this is cool. Like a British Racing Green helicopter. Quite a big thing as well, with like 2 silver like tubes downside, like jet tubes or something. Anyway, he comes and he's messing about doing whatever he did. And pilot were filling it up with fuel because they had a fuel tank there. And I were delivering. And so after I'd finished delivering, I thought, oh, they're going again. They're setting off. I'll just hang around here and watch this. And it started rotors slowly, and then it got up to speed. And oh, the stink were unbelievable. And there's flipping aviation for fuel flying everywhere. And pilot had not put the cap back on tank, and with draft off the propellers, it was creating like some sort of suction or vacuum or something. Flipping aviation fuel's coming out of tank, and I thought, my God, it's going to blow up, is this thing? I'm wafting my arms around at this helicopter pilot. I said, stop, bloody hell, stop. You know, and he's looking at me like I was simple. And I said, pointing at his fuel cap, and anyway, he stopped it. All his blood, it was all outside it, helicopter all over the floor. We're helipad and everything. With draft off the propellers, started flying out, and it stunk, I'll tell you. It was like a mixture of like, I don't know, it was like petrol and bloody paraffin and other shit. I don't know what it was, but it was an horrible smell because it was just like a fine spray being chucked about at high speed, and it went on me, on my shirt and everything, and I stunk of it all day, I did. You know, but I think they were glad I stopped them. Well, at least I think they were, anyway, I don't know. Been a bit of a bummer if you set off and then you run out of fuel, isn't it? Because it's all squirted out of cap. Because it was a really fancy helicopter, it were. What is a 6X77 train? I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I wonder what happened to him, because it's still, the building's still there, but it's no longer Botany Bay. Right, weird. No, he didn't. No, nothing. He didn't say anything to me. I mean, to be fair, he was about 50 metres away from me, because it was like a little fence around this helipad thing, but the fuel had flipping gone all over, sprayed on me. I got it on me, and it was on the side of my wagon, this flipping aviation fuel, because it was coming out of the cap and hitting the blades and just turning into a fine whatever, almost atomising it were. And they couldn't see it in cockpit, you see, because it was all happening behind them. And at first I bet they thought, God, he's simple, this fella bouncing around in front of us. Because I thought, if they don't listen to me, I'm going to have to hop out fence and flipping actually physically run up to helicopter to make them stop. But anyway, they did stop. I don't know if you put any more fuel in or not. I have no idea. Is a car train. When? Oh, that's not coming till late tonight, is it, that? We saw that the other night. Comes from Dagenham and goes up Scotland somewhere. Yeah, you don't get anything off these rich folk, Tommy. Nothing. I'll never forget, I took a lot of furniture into a house, a place called, it's called Much Hoole, it's called. Right little posh area between Preston and Southport. It's called Much Hoole. And it was a right big house it were. And I had some, I can't remember what kind of furniture it were. It were all palletised. And anyway, I got it off and pushed it up his drive into his flipping big double garage and everything, and umped it all in, and he says, here, get yourself a drink, and he gave me a quick coin. I thought, Christ, when was the last time you went in a pub? I mean, this is like 2004, this, but you couldn't get a pound a pint in 2004, never mind. No idea what it was, Tommy. It did have a smell of paraffin though, but I can't remember. I know it was all out sure. It probably only a couple of gallons, but because it hit the propellers, it was like a flipping fine mist getting flung everywhere. I used to meet some strange folk when you're out doing deliveries. My God. I always used to dread home address deliveries because they were all same old classic tale. Every one of them used to do it. Oh, there's nobody here. There's just me. My husband's at work. You know, deliberately, and they'd ordered a bloody great big wood burning stove or something that weighed a ton. You know, and officially I weren't even supposed to take anything into anybody's house, but most of the time I did. But you got the odd one or two who were cocky from the outset, bossy. We used to fall out quickly. I was willing to help, but when they were cocky, no way. They were a pub in Leyland, and she'd ordered a load of garden furniture, this wooden garden, you know, these seats, like 2 benches and a table, all bolted together in like a triangular configuration. And I goes in pub. I said, oh, I got your garden furniture, and I got it off back at wagon. I put it in the pub beer garden where you'd naturally. No, I wanted upstairs. I said, you what? She says, I wanted upstairs. I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, I ain't humping that upstairs. And God, she went ballistic. She did. She said, I was told you were going to put that exactly where I wanted it. I said, yeah, within reason. I said, I'm not carrying this wood. How do you expect me to carry one of them? You know the ones I mean. You see at pubs, it's like a wooden top and 2 benches all bolted together. I said, how on earth do you expect me to carry one of them up a flight of steps? You know. Oh, she flipped, she did, and she rung up. She was complaining to everybody and all that. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I ain't doing it. You know. I said, I'm more than happy to put it anywhere you want in this garden. I said, anywhere where I can roll it on this pump truck, you can have it. I said, but I ain't carrying it upstairs. I said, what the bloody hell do you want garden furniture for upstairs? She says, I'm storing it there just for winter, you see. So you better order some covers then. Oh, then she wouldn't sign delivery note then. She thought she was being a smart ass, not signing delivery notes, so I just took a photograph of her and all the furniture. And she just flipped even more. She was only a young woman as well. She was only young, but oh, what an attitude. She was horrendous. And I'd literally left by 2 minutes and phone went, and my boss, he was just laughing. He says, have you just had some fun at the pub? I said, yeah, I have, big time. I said, this crazy woman wanted me to put garden furniture upstairs. And he just laughed. Wasn't bothered. I said she wouldn't sign delivery note, but I said I've got a photograph, and I've got a photograph where you've stood behind the garden furniture, so no problems on that score. Then I had another woman in Southport, she was the same, horrible. She'd ordered a massive pile of wood flooring, and it was like a full pallet of it. Really heavy, them pallets, when they're full of wood flooring. I mean, I had a tail lift on back at wagon, so I got it off back at wagon with pump truck up to her front door, knocked on door. She says, yeah, I want it down there. I said, down where? She said, down there in that. She had like a cellar, like a room below ground level. She wanted it put in there, down some steps. I said, there's about flipping a full pallet here. Do you know what I mean? You know, a full pallet of wood flooring. Do you want me to unpole that down steps? She says, well, I can't leave it there. I said, look, I'll meet you halfway. I said, you go to the bottom of the steps, I'll stay up here and I'll pass you with a pack of... No, I can't do that. I said, well, I ain't doing it. So that developed, did that one. I said, look, I said, you can either have it here or I'll roll it back onto the wagon. You know, it's your choice. I said, but... And it was a full pallet. If it had been like 10 packs, I'd have probably done it. Yes, it is James Hampson, the West Coast Main Line. Yeah, if it had been like 10 packs of wood flooring, I'd have done it. But it was a full pallet of wood flooring. A full pallet. I said, no, I said, I'm willing to meet you halfway. I'll, you know, I'll pass them down to you. You know, she didn't want to do that. So, in the end, it ended up just, oh, well, you just have to leave it there and I'll get my husband to do it when he comes home. I said, well, I'm sorry. I said, imagine if I did this for every delivery, I'd be spending like an hour at each delivery. I won't get home till midnight. You know, they want the earth. And I'm always happy to meet them halfway. If they were up for it, I don't mind spending a bit of time helping them. But when they're just obnoxious and expect you to do everything, no. And when there were massive craze on wood burning stoves, everybody were buying them. And it did my head in. Because they had the rule that you had to inspect it before you left to make sure it weren't broke. So every time you delivered one, it had to be unpacked. And of course, they wanted you to drag it into house room. And some of them wood burning stoves were mega heavy. Some weren't so bad, but some of them were really heavy. The double ones especially. You know. I remember delivering one to a place near Preston called Leia. It's on outside of Preston. It is quiet at the moment, James. Yeah, called Leia outside of Preston, and it gets this little house. She'd ordered a double wood burning stove. I said, what have you ordered this for here? I said, this will kill you. I said, don't you understand? This stove will actually kill you. She says, you what? I says, you light this stove in this little room. I says, you'll die. I said, it will rip the oxygen out of the room. I said, have you fitted and all that? No. I said, well, you should have. I said, you put these things, they're killers. Because they flipping rip oxygen out of a room like there's no tomorrow. And I said, you just fall asleep on settee. And you don't wake up. You smother in your sleep. And they don't get it. And the amount of people that died because of wood burning stoves is unbelievable. You're supposed to have air bricks fitted and have the right size of stove for the room. But people go for the big, beautiful looking ones, and they don't understand that they just rip all oxygen out of the room. Yeah, what I do, James, is I live stream, and then I've started cutting the live stream up and just cutting all the trains out, and then I do another live stream through broadcasting software. So it's just train after train after train after train, if you know what I mean. So if you're about later, you'll see one, but it just takes so long to edit. It's unbelievable. You know, it takes me like 40 minutes, 3/4 an hour, just to edit like 5 or 10 minutes worth of footage. When you're trying to get an hour or so together, it's time consuming. When a train passes, it's only like 8 seconds worth of footage. And to people that come down this lane just to take photographs of the car, they must be selling them. They come down, dive out, take a few photos, then drive off. Because it's nice and picturesque with bushes and all that business. is coming. Hello, Joanne Smith. To be honest with you, I've no idea. I've no idea. I'm just sat here in sun. Don't think it's anything exciting anyway. When's that coming, Rajiya? Oh, is that the 7 o'clock one? I won't be here for that. In fact, I probably won't be here in 5 minutes. There's something in sidings up there, straight ahead where you're watching. I presume it's the 66. I can see the yellow end. No, it's not going anywhere. Wow, it's hot. Switch today. Boom car insurance, that's what they're called. Yep, I will be switching, don't worry. Don't you worry, I'll be switching tomorrow. Da, 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 da. Class 66 OF90. That's a while off, is that? Let's have a look at the map, see what's happening. Where's the map? Where's the map? Custom map live. Oh, 53 was just 3 points. Down we go. Yeah, there's nothing coming for a while. That is for sure. Nothing exciting coming for a while, shall I say. That one you just mentioned is not even showing on the map, so it's not in range. Sorry, I lost connection, my end, for a few minutes. Oh. Okay, Joanne Smith. Yeah, there is something in the stone siding, straight ahead of the camera. Straight, sort of like middle top, just slightly off middle top. You can see the front end of it. Looks like a 66. But it's not showing on real-time trains or any maps or anything, so it's obviously just parked up there. That's the Miles Fox sidings. I know, it's true, is that, Tommy? I do have a collapsible stool, I might bring it tomorrow and sit at some. Well, saying that, I might sit on my patio tomorrow. You know, because I get solid sun all the way from first light from sunrise all the way till about 1:30 in the afternoon before it goes over top of building. So I do get a long stint. So I might get up early and then sit in the sun and just doze off in the sun. You know, when you go to Crewe and it's like this, there's some people go there and sit there and they actually take deck chairs with them. They sit outside the track with deck chairs. Something coming? No, it's just a 331. But I left the stream running last night. When I went to bed, I set a stream running. It went on for hours. And it got over 14,000 views. Which isn't too bad. It's not too shabby. And I've added to it since last night. I've added some more video to it. I keep adding to it and adding to it, you know. Wake me up. This is your early morning call. That is the Tunstead Foxes storm train, usually for yeah, you're right, Walter. There's definitely one. There's one in there. I can sit front end of it. 66. But there's nothing listed. In fact, I don't. Shades of McMankinical. Excellent, Tommy. Good idea, that. Get me Mankini on. Hugh Pritchard, how we doing? How we doing, Hugh? I'm just going to check timetable again, making sure I'm not missing anything, but I don't think I have. Ironson Junction. Well, there's nothing there. The train is listed, but it's on a run as required basis. There's nothing running. There's a Lumo at 7 o'clock, but I won't be here for that. Another Lumo. It's same one. It's 1855 Lumo. Can't see this test train. On the list. Yeah, I've just looked. Does it have AC? Does what have AC? The trains? I would imagine so. My car that I'm sat in certainly has AC, but you can't turn it on because you hear the engine coming through, the noise of the engine. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. There's nothing on the list for coming through here. 3Q37. It's not down for here. I've just had a look. The only odd thing that's down for here is a Lumo at 5 to 7. No test trains or anything listed. How's Matthew doing, Walter? How's little Matthew doing? IQ83 is yeah, whereabouts is it running though? IQ83, it's not down on here. I've just checked the list. Well, I've checked everything up to 9 PM. There's no IQ83 running through here, but yeah. Yeah, there seems to be quite a few strong trains lately. They seem to have upped the ante a bit. Yeah, they seem to have slipped a couple extra in. I noticed the other day when I was here. Thought that's unusual, a stone train at this time. It were about 20 to 1, I think it were. This is Joanne, this is the West Coast Main Line. Excellent. Yeah, the 142 were up here a few weeks back on route learning. The orange one, the orange 142. I videoed it a few times, I did. Oh, I feel so tired. Heat knocks it out of you. Battery's not got much life left in it. I am a kid, yes, I worked that one out. Scott, hello. Got the postcode for Cotton Junction. Oh, fire away. I'll do it. You put it in chat, and I'll do a screenshot. You know, class 98. No, I've never heard of a class 98. I've heard of the 99 and the 93. Matthew's fine, thanks. Start school in September. Got out them. 4 years going on 60. Yep. I can remember when mine were 4 year old. Blimey. 22 now. Yeah, I've never heard of a class 98. I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying I've never seen one, but it's in the 99 and the 93. I've never heard of a 98. Yeah, if you put postcode in the chat, I'll screenshot the screen. And when I get home, I'll have a look on Google. I were thinking, me and Arlie were only talking about this yesterday, about whether to go to York. But I was thinking it might be more cost effective just to dive on train, because obviously train goes directly there from where I live. And I think it's only around a tenner. It's probably a bit quicker than driving. Certainly cheaper. Alright, 17th of April. Colton Junction. Colton Junction. I found it, Colton Junction on the map. Just outside of York. It's actually on Google Earth as the Colton Junction viewing point. Looking at it now on Google Earth. On Colton Lane. I'm going to have to look at that properly when I get home on a big screen. See what it's about. It actually says on it, viewpoint. I've had chat on top chat all flipping afternoon, but I don't think I've missed out though. It annoys me that, why it doesn't just default to all messages, but now it defaults to top chat. So you miss messages. So what to remember is that at the top of your screen you've got 3 little dots. Tap them 3 dots and somewhere down there it says live chat, then it says chat filters. You need to change that chat filter to all messages. Anyway folks, I'm going to call it a do. And I shall catch you all on the next one. But later on tonight I might run an edited video tonight. I'll probably clip out the trains from this live and add them to it as well. Depends what mood I'm in. It's such a time-consuming job. So thanks for watching everybody, and I'll catch you all later, alligators. Tell you something, leather seats do not do well in hot weather, you get stuck to them. Stuck to my seat.